What's up, reader? So I've been recently employed and stacking bread, but while working, I was given the opportunity to check out a local library. And in that library, I noticed a big monopoly of books. The majority of books there were written by James Patterson or Nora Roberts. It was a very small library, but these two big authors took up most of the shelf space there. While skimming through all those books in their different genres, mystery, sci-fi, action, nonfiction, I started wondering these stories I read online, like web novels and manhwas, would compete with these if they were in the library too. Would people read them? Would people like them? And it also took me back to the days I used to go to the library pretty frequently just to read media. Because the way I first got introduced to weeb shit like anime and manga and other stuff was actually in my local library. When I was much younger, I used to go to my local library and I would go to the kids section and there'll be like a comic portion where Shonen Jump is, and I'll go there and pick up a pretty sizable Shonen Jump series with Naruto, One Piece, and all different types of manhwas inside that one Shonen Jump thing. It was there I also binged Shaman King beginning to end too. Shaman King was one of my favorites I actually discovered through Shonen Jump books in my local library. So today I'm going to rank manhwas and web novels on how likely people will check them out. S tier meaning this book will be very popular to check out in the library and the waitlist for it will be massive. So you'd have to book it in advance because it's always flying off the shelf. Then last tier would probably be it taking up dust in space, and they'll probably just sell it to an orphanage for like 99 cents. When they even sell it, they'll probably sell it to someone for 99 cents or just donate it because the book is so bad and so unorthodox that it's just nobody wants to read it in the library. Starting off with Reverend Insanity. Reverend Insanity is a pretty interesting web novel. I read the first 30 to 50 chapters and it's pretty interesting. I think due to how edgy it is, like a normie library goer wouldn't enjoy this book due to its unorthodox nature. It was banned in China for some weird reason. I don't know, but for a novel to be banned, there's probably something interesting going on. So I don't think it would fit in pretty well in our local library. And due to some of its edgy nature, I don't think anybody would pick this book up and enjoy it, girl or boy. So I just leave it in D tier. Lord of the Mysteries. Lord of the Mysteries, I've read only one chapter, so don't judge me too harshly on where I put this. Maybe if I read it more, I would have a better ranking of this one. But for now, it's based off that one chapter. I feel like it's gonna be a very thorough read. You have to have a pretty good reading level to get into Lord of the Mysteries. That's how I felt reading the first chapter of Lord of Mysteries. It has a lot of world building and it uses a lot of lingo to get across how intricate the world is. So I don't think any average library reader would go in and find this in the fantasy section and fall in love with it. It's pretty good, maybe if you get past the beginning. So I'll put it in B. I'll put it in B for now. Shadow Slave. So I've caught up to Shadow Slave and it's pretty good. Has great English, which is something a lot of web novels lack with how bad the English translation is. But the English in Shadows is very good. Reminds me of all these fantasy stories I used to read in the library. So I feel like if you go into the fantasy section of the library and check out Shadow Slave, it will be a pretty good find. It has pretty good storytelling, pretty intriguing romance between the two main leads, and just the system with shadows and dreams are cool. The author found a lot of inspiration from some pretty well-known childhood stories like Peter Pan and stuff. So I feel like Shadow Slave is a really good find if you find it in the fantasy section in the library. I feel like a lot of people would love Shadow Slave if you find it in the library, and it will gain massive popularity because it's pretty well made, a lot of interesting world building and pretty simple to understand English. GED. Now the rest of these series will be manhwas, and you go to the comics section in the library, the kids section in the library, and you'd probably see all these manhwas. And we're starting off with GED. Greatest Stuff the Over will be really good. It has pretty strong comedy, one of the best comedies in a manhwa I've seen. So I feel like both all types of people like it, boys boys, girls, just the humor in it is pretty universal and great to go through with all the faces, the funny remarks. So it's a pretty solid. I think GED would be very popular in the local library. Nano Machine. This is a Murim, and I'll say it's okay. Boys would like this. If a boy walked into the library and saw Nano Machine and gave it a chance, he would enjoy the beginning and all that Murim stuff. I don't think girls would like Nano Machine though if they found it in the local library. So it's a little skewed. So I'll put it in B. Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling is a turn your brain off action manhwa and pretty simple to understand. A lot of straight up action aura. So I feel like an average guy that picks up Solo Leveling would enjoy it pretty fast, but maybe due to its lack in story, not as much. But just everyone would enjoy it. So I'll put it in A for now, but it's probably also an S, but I'll just leave it in A. Terror Man. Terror Man is pretty good. Great story. I don't remember much about it, but the art in Terror Man was really good. So I think people like the intricate black and white art style. I'm not sure if I'm describing it well, but I liked that about Terror Man. Then the character development of the main character is pretty interesting as he grows from kid to adult and learns more ways to use his powers. Yeah, Terror Man is a pretty solid one that I feel like people would warm up to in the library. World After the Fall. I think World After the Fall beginning would be pretty good, but people would slowly drop this one due to how confusing it is if they picked it up in the local library. Tomb Raider King. Tomb Raider King is pretty straightforward. Guy going through tomes, pretty simple elements to understand. If a kid goes to the comic section in the library and finds this and checks it out, it won't be bad. It's just average. I'll just put it in A. Last but not least, Elyseed. Elyseed is a great one. It has a very appealing art style, cute cats, and some romance between the main character and a lady. So I think both genders would like this, boys and girls, if they gave at least a chance, especially the cats. The cats are cute, so I feel like everyone would love it. So putting at least in S, and that's the end of the tier list. I think Solo Leveling is pretty good though. So it can also be an S too. It's just basic turn your brain off action. So a lot of people would love Solo Leveling. I'm not sure if girls would love it. That's why it's an A. Some girls like action too. It's not bad. This is the tier list of how well stories will do in the library. Peace.